This is a video that talks about coterminal angles. So what are coterminal angles? They are angles that their terminal side is in the same position. So let's take a look here. If I sketch these three angles, 30 degrees, negative 330 degrees, and a positive 390 degrees, we're going to see that these are all coterminal. So if I start with 30 degrees, 0 degrees, and 90 degrees, so this is going to fall in quadrant 1. So initial side is always the positive x-axis, and here's my angle of 30 degrees. The next one is negative 330 degrees. So remember that negative angles rotate clockwise. So I'm still starting here at 0, but when I rotate clockwise, down here is going to be negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, and this is going to be negative 360. So negative 330 is going to fall in quadrant 1 as well. Here's my initial side. Here's my terminal side, and I rotated in this direction. So if you notice, they're the exact same terminal side. They rotated in different directions, but the terminal side is the same. And lastly, number 3, I have 390 degrees. So I start at 0, 90, 180, 270, 360, but I have to keep going. So up here, I'm also going to have 450 degrees. So my initial side, I'm going to be in quadrant 1. I'm going to have a terminal side in quadrant 1, but it rotated a full circle and then some. So this is the angle of 390 degrees. So these are coterminal angles because they all end at the same spot. They all have the same reference angle. They all have the same terminal side. So let's take a look at some examples of how we would work with coterminal angles. Because coterminal angles, you're rotating in the same spot, that means you're adding a full circle. So a full circle is 360 degrees. So when we work with coterminal angles, we always want to add or subtract 360 degrees. So number 1, when drawn in standard position, which of the following angles is coterminal to one that measures 165? So coterminal, I'm thinking I'm going to add or subtract 360 degrees. So I'm going to start with 165. I'm going to add 360. So nice and easy, right in our calculator. 165 plus 360, and I get 525, which is answer choice 3. Question 2. Which of the following angles, when drawn in standard position, would not be coterminal with an angle that measures 270 degrees? So the first thing is I want to make sure I know that I'm looking for not, and coterminal means add or subtract 360. So I'm going to start with 270 and I'm going to add 360. So once again, take out my calculator, 270 plus 360, and I get 630 degrees. So that is coterminal, and I'm looking for not, so I'm crossing off choice 3. Then I'm going to do it again, because I want to find out which one doesn't work. So I'm going to go back to my calculator, and I'm going to add 360, and I end up with 990. So 990 is coterminal. I'm looking for not, so I'm going to cross that off, which means it has to be 720, choice 4. So where did number 1 come from? Well, I told you that coterminal was adding or subtracting. So if I did 270 and I subtracted 360, I would end up with negative 90. 270 minus 360, there's our negative 90, which is why that one gets crossed off as well. So remember, coterminal angles have a terminal side in the same spot, and we always add or subtract 3/6.